Welcome to today's reflection, where we explore a heartfelt prayer that speaks to our deepest fears, desires, and faith in God's guidance. We've all faced days when anxiety tries to overwhelm us, when doubts cloud our judgment, and when fear feels more real than hope. But what if there was a way to walk through the day with peace and confidence, knowing that a higher power is constantly guiding and protecting you? That's what we'll dive into today. Imagine starting your day not with the usual stress, but by centering your heart on the presence of God. Picture the power of inviting divine guidance into every thought, decision, and action. This prayer, which we'll dissect together, isn't just words, it's a blueprint for a faith-driven life that's deeply grounded in peace. We'll take a closer look at how you can integrate this practice into your own life, and by the end of the video, you'll leave with a renewed sense of purpose, strength, and trust in God's plan. Let's begin with the foundation of this prayer, asking for God's guidance and presence throughout the day. Now, that might seem like a simple request, but if you think about it, being aware of God's presence every single moment can truly change the way we live. We often rush through life, missing the small moments where divine intervention might be right in front of us. This prayer is a reminder to pause and acknowledge that God is walking with us, guiding every step we take. The prayer continues by asking for peace to fill the heart. Think about how different our lives would be if peace ruled our emotions. How often do we let worrying or stress dictate our actions? It's so easy to be consumed by the challenges we face, but this prayer reminds us to invite God's peace into those moments. When you truly believe that God is in control, it becomes much easier to face the day without being overwhelmed by fear or doubt. This brings us to an important lesson: trust. The line "help me trust in your plan" stands out. Trusting in God's plan, even when we don't understand it, is one of the hardest things to do. We want control. We want to know what's going to happen next. But this prayer encourages us to step back and trust that God's plan is always for our good. Think of those moments when things didn't go according to your plan but ended up working out for the best. That's God at work behind the scenes, orchestrating details in ways we can't even imagine. The prayer shifts towards seeking protection not just for the person praying, but for their family too. This is a powerful reminder that our prayers aren't just for ourselves. We are called to pray for the safety and well-being of those we love. It's like placing a spiritual shield over them. Imagine going through your day knowing that a divine shield of protection surrounds your family, keeping them safe from harm. In the next part of the prayer, there's a request for God's presence to be felt so strongly that fear has no place. This is something we all crave: a sense of security that's unshakable, no matter what life throws at us. Fear often creeps in when we feel vulnerable, but knowing that God is actively protecting us brings immense comfort. Fear, as we know, thrives on uncertainty. But when you trust that God is guarding your home, your heart, and your mind, there's no room left for fear to take hold. Now, let's talk about the part where the person asks for strength in difficult situations. We've all been there, times when we feel weak or uncertain about what to do next. It's in these moments that this prayer reminds us to turn to God for strength. Too often, we try to carry our burdens alone. We think that we have to have all the answers. But God invites us to lay those burdens down and trust in His strength instead of our own. This leads us to a powerful truth: God is always working for our good, even when we can't see it. How many times have we been in situations where we thought everything was falling apart, only to later realize that God was putting things together for something greater? This part of the prayer calls on us to trust that even when things look bleak, God is at work behind the scenes, turning challenges into blessings. It's a message of hope that we can hold on to in the darkest times. Practical application and personal reflections. As we've gone through the themes of this prayer, you might be wondering how you can practically apply these ideas to your everyday life. One way is to start your day with a prayer like this one, centering yourself and acknowledging God's presence from the very beginning. Another way is to consistently remind yourself that fear and anxiety have no place in your life when you are anchored in God's peace. Fear is a natural human emotion, but it's also something we can overcome by focusing on the promises God has made to us. In my own life, I've found that when I make space for God in my thoughts, especially during stressful moments, I can feel the difference almost immediately. It doesn't mean that all my problems disappear, but it does mean that I approach them with a sense of calm and confidence. Knowing that God is with me in every step gives me the courage to face whatever the day brings. Another key takeaway from this prayer is the call to trust in God's plan. It's easy to say we trust God when things are going well, but real faith shows up when we're in the midst of uncertainty. The next time you find yourself unsure of what to do or worried about the future, remember that God has already gone ahead of you, preparing the way. Lastly, this prayer highlights the importance of being a light for others. It's not just about asking for God's guidance and protection for ourselves, but also about being a source of peace and encouragement for those around us. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, how can we be an example of God's love and peace to others? As we come to the end of this reflection, let's wrap it up with a key lesson. True peace and strength come from trusting in God, not in our circumstances. When we surrender our worries, fears, and anxieties to God, we allow His peace to fill the spaces that were once occupied by doubt. This prayer is a powerful reminder that no matter what we face, we are not alone. God is with us, guiding our steps, protecting our hearts, and giving us the strength to move forward with confidence. So, as you go through your day, remember to take a moment to invite God into every aspect of your life. Trust that He is at work, even when you can't see it, and let His peace guard your heart. With God by your side, there's no challenge too big, no fear too strong, and no obstacle that can't be overcome. Stay strong in your faith, and let His presence lead you every step of the way. If this message has touched your heart, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments and let us know if you need prayer. May the peace of Christ be with you always.